Hey guys, today we're going to be going over the protective modifications for the Husqvarna Svartpilen 401. I'm not talking about protection for the rider, I'm talking about protection for the longevity of the bike, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So first off, we've got the new levers, both the clutch and the brake levers that are mobile, so that way if the bike falls over, it's not going to just bend or break your levers right off of the bat. Secondly, we've got the actual lever protectors too, right here. And if you see there's a little something funky going on here, you're right, and I'll explain what's going on here later. And then thirdly, we have the plastics bump stop. It's a rubber, it's not really a rubber, it's more like plastic, but basically this is just a pad. It's the plastics pad that prevents your plastic from just getting hit if the thing falls over or somebody opens a door against your bike or what have you. So let's go ahead and start off with this clutch lever here. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to remove this bolt right here. Let's see if I can get it to focus. That little guy right there on the top side. Come on, focus baby, focus. Anyways, that's the one we're going to be worrying about. Okay, and there is a nut on the bottom side there. Not sure if we can see it. Let's see, where is she at? Where is she at? Right here. That's the nut for it. Very hard to see. Let me see if I can get you guys some more light. There it is. Now we can see it. This guy right here. There's the nut for the back side of that bolt. So according to the instructions, after you've removed that and its nut, you want to pull this back, and I don't mean just peel it back, I mean you want to slide it back on the cable. After you get that slidden back, you want to go back, after you get this slid back, you want to go back underneath to the bottom side, and you want to remove this little tiny screw, and we're looking at the bottom side now, remember that, this little tiny screw, and okay, so just the screws that are on the sides of this little box looking thing, which is your, hell, I don't even know what that is. After you've got those screws out and that bolt, remember the first step, you're going to go ahead and get the clutch cable pulled out of this lever, which is going to take some maneuvering, but the actual lever will be free at this point, so it'll be pretty easy. Get that undone, get it pulled out of there, and then you're ready to start mounting the new one up. And the first step's going to be reverse order. You're going to mount this cable into the new one, all right? And then well, actually, first of all, you'll be free to put the screws back into the sides of this little box. And then you can go ahead and mount up the clutch cable and get the lever put into place and then tighten it up, and you'll be able to adjust it right here with however far you want it to be from your handlebar there. And that'll be it for the clutch pedal, for the clutch lever, I'm sorry. And then for the brake side, the brake side's much more simple. We're just gonna undo this bolt and the nut on the bottom side. You're gonna undo those and it'll be free. You'll pull it right off. And then you'll mount this new one up. You'll mount this new one up, you'll run the bolt back through this one, and then you'll have a mobile brake lever, and that's it, all right? So the next step here, as I said before, is now the lever protectors. Not only do we have a mobile lever now, but we also have lever protectors. And if you guys remember, I do have the bar end mirrors, which it is not meant to have the lever protectors and the bar end mirrors, just so you know. Obviously it's a little bit funky. The first thing I had to do to make this work was obviously I had to remove the bar end mirror, and then if you guys remember from my other video, there's a second piece that would be right here for the bar end mirror that you have to disassemble by taking the screws out, all the little Allens. You'll take that secondary piece off, and then you'll have to slide the lever protector in and then mount what's left of the bar end mirror, this half, put it onto the end of this, and then tighten it up. The brake side's a little bit more tricky because you see there's a lot less tolerance over here for where the protector would meet the lever, whereas on this side there's all kinds of room. So you actually have to hold the lever protector away from the end of the throttle handle to make sure that it's not interrupting your brake action. So you have to hold it away as you simultaneously tighten this down and hold your mirror in the position that you like most. So that's a little tricky, but you can make it work. Now, a lot of people are going to say that it's useless to do it that way because if the bike falls, it's going to hit your mirror. Yeah, it's going to hit your mirror, but at least it's not going to bend the lever anymore. So before we move on to the tank bag set, I will say a couple tools that you're going to need for this job that'll make it easy. Obviously, you're going to need a Torx or a spline drive there for the end. I'll give you the number for it. I'll give you the number for the Torx or the spline, and then obviously you're going to need a Fat Phillips for that. This little guy down here, I want to say was a number. Oh gosh, I'll grab it for you. All right, I double checked. The nut on the back side of this is a number 8 socket. The nut on the back side of this one for the brake lever is a number 10. Obviously, you're going to need a flathead for that. And I'm going to recommend when you try to put this clutch cable back in, you're going to have to pull it. And I would recommend using a spring puller for it. Use a spring puller, and then once you get the cable pulled out, use a pair of pliers to clamp it to hold it out while you put it in the new lever. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting the tension the whole time. The Torx for the mirrors is, let's see, a T40 for the end of the mirrors. Yes, and that's a new setup from when we just had the mirrors in there. Before it was an Allen, so you need the appropriate size Allen to remove the bolt that you used to use, along with a littler Allen to remove these guys from the secondary piece that used to be on the end of the mirror. And you'll then use this bolt that came with the lever protectors, and you'll run it through both pieces. So now we're going to talk about the tank bag set. If you guys remember, the first thing that we need to do is we need to remove the tank bag carrier. It's going to be, it depends, it's going to be a T30 for all four if you don't have the metal brackets for the magnetic tank bag, if you haven't bought a magnetic tank bag. However, if you have, it's going to be the T30 for here, and it's going to be Allen's for the bottom two bolts. So you're going to pull that off, pull out the grommets underneath that these bolts run through to go into the tank, and then you're going to take this Allen off, the bolt, this is another Allen, and then basically you'll just pull it free. There's a clip in here that this piece of plastic, this whole giant piece of plastic is clipped into. So you're going to pull it, and then you're going to slide it forward because there's a little prong back here that goes in. So you need to pull this free and then pull the whole plastic forward, and that's how it comes off. But first, before you do that, you have to take the seat off, which I've shown you guys that too. You got to use the key, turn this pops up, pull it off, and then this seat will slide back, and then there'll be a bolt right here on both sides that you need to remove as well that goes into the plastics. So you'll remove one here and one here. They don't run through the seat, don't get me wrong, they don't run through the seat, it's underneath the seat. I'm not going to pull it off because I'm trying to give you guys a brief overview. So once you get these plastics off, now you're going to need to do 3 holes on each side for these pads, these protective pads. One here, and then one in the center. 3 holes. The plastics have crosshairs. They have a target on the inside. It looks like a crosshairs. It's a cross and a circle, just like a target. 3 of them. It'll show you where you need to drill. Start with a 2mm. The equivalent of a 2mm would be like a 5/64 in a standard to start the holes, okay? And then the outsides are going to be 5mm to finish them off, which would be the equivalent of, in standard, let's see, it would be a 13/64, and then the center one in the center of the pads is going to be a 6mm, like I said, which would be the equivalent of a 15/64. So 3 holes each side, drill them out, and then you're just going to screw into the pads for the outside 2, and then this one is just a clip that you push into the plastic. You push it in and then screw these 2 pieces on. And then put it back together in reverse order. So you're going to re-screw these, both pieces of plastic. You'll put the bolt in here and on the opposite side, and then you're going to put the carrier back on, all 4 of these, and then you're going to go ahead and put this bolt back in. And boom, voila, you have every protective piece for the Svartpilen 401. Now, there is a different plastics pad set. It looks a little bit fancier. I think it's just glossy. But I'm going for the rugged look on mine. I like it very plain Jane. I don't want it to be classy looking or sparkly. I want it to be rugged. Hence the mud flap being gone and the fact that everything on here is black, from the full exhaust to the plastics that I got along with the pads. So that's every protective piece. We have the protective headlight cover, we have the lever protectors, we have the mobile levers for an even greater mitigation effort in terms of them getting bent. And we have the pads so that nobody dings our plastics. Well, obviously there's a lot of plastic exposed, but at least right here there's one less thing to hit. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Alright, so real fast, just to let you guys know, the Allen for this, to remove your mirrors for when you put in the new hardware, is going to be a number 5 Allen. Okay, the little guys on the outer perimeter, those are going to be number 3s. Okay, and then the Allen that goes into here and into here is going to be a number 4. So we've got what would have been a number 5. Okay, number 5, number 3s around the number 5, and number 4s, unless it's, like I said, unless you don't have these. And then you'll have the original hardware in here, which is a T30 Torx or spline, however you want to call it, whatever it is, T30, and then T40s for the new hardware on the edge of the bar end mirrors. Hey guys, a little bit of a disclaimer here before we get started. If you do go ahead and do the levers, the clutch lever and the brake lever for the motorcycle, you're going to have to adjust the tension for the clutch, most likely. The tension for your cable is not going to be the same as it was with the other lever, because the location where the cable mounts into the lever is not exactly the same. Furthermore, if you want to put the brake lever on and you're not completely confident in your ability and your competence to do it correctly, then I wouldn't mess with it, because if you mess with your brakes and you lose the ability to use your front brake correctly along with using your rear brake in tandem, it could lead to an unsafe situation. So be on the safe side. If you don't think you can do it, or you think that you may have messed up, then have it looked at by a professional.